This is Tales of Swordfall.
Episode 28, Embers Ignite.
Yeah,
And
that's fine.
so Ash and Rand are going back to this house where the spooky chest is. And you see approaching from the east, kind of like heading in the same direction, a person. And what does this person look like?
Is that my go?
That is your go.
Okay, so what should I give away? How far away am I?
You're probably about like 200 to 300 feet away, so they can see your silhouette at least.
Okay, so they'd probably be able to tell that it's a tiefling. You see the big horns. A tail probably rebelliously flashing about and sort of walking like a punk would. And just sort of face down. And yeah,
That's amazing.
once you get closer, you can see he's got very, very dark color skin, beaming orange eyes. You can't see the whites, of course, either of his eyes.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, Ryan and Ash, you see this stranger approach, and you've had a lot of stranger danger recently. What is your reaction to this sole figure in this wrecked town?
Stranger danger.
Rain, after seeing so many people after her bounty, she kind of ponders at the situation. She's like, who is this person? Are they after me? Are they after the puzzle piece? What are they looking for? Just on the defense.
And how
Blinking
about
eyes.
Ash?
I think Ash is just kind of he's pretty worn out with all this events of the day, but he'll just kind of go stand in the middle of the road and call his sword to his hand and just kind of wait and see what happens. Wait until they see him.
Yep.
So friendly.
So friendly.
He's so
my
done. Ash is so done.
And so as this person approaches, what do you guys look like to him? It is him, right? Or is it they?
Yeah, no, it's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if they don't talk, he's going to say something.
Yeah, so Ash and Rayanne wait for this person to speak, or
I think when they get if they're coming this way, if they get 50 feet away, I'll just kind of put my hand up and be like, who goes there?
Yeah, he sort of spits on the ground and then he goes, which one of you is Rayanne? He looks over at Ash and sort of why is it you speak up? What's your problem?
I think Ash just kind of closes his eyes and kind of puts his hand to his face and is just like, you gotta be kidding me. Who's asking?
Look, man, I'm just here for the job. We doing it or not?
What job?
The one with Rayanne. DM didn't really specify. So
I'll
out of character.
whisper it to you really quick.
Okay, cool. Because that out of character is not my knowledge, but he knows apparently.
I guess while you're checking that out, so Ash is about 6 feet tall, about 175 pounds, ash gray skin with the black and red eyes, and kind of hair that looks like a burning coal, and a short beard that looks the same.
And Rayanne is just a lady filled with many and many of cloaks and robes now at this point. Purple hair, like cerulean, I would want to say cayenne colored eyes.
Okay.
So,
So I don't know if he was even told if Rayanne was a girl.
Yeah,
But he
you just got the name from the dude, and that you heard this person was named Ryan, and they couldn't remember if it was like the gender, because the dude was a little distraught because he was trying to explain to you that the whole town had been like going to riots and just all this chaos has been happening, and Rayanne hasn't come back like within a day, and there were kobolds attacking, and this little um uh this little halfling guy, it was just like so distraught, but like offered a lot of money just to go to this town and check his stuff.
Oh yeah, he'd be all about that. He'd be all about that. So he sort of rolls his eyes and is like, "Well, whoever it is, are you coming or not?"
Ryan just kind of spits on the ground just to kind of mimic and says, "Who called for you?"
So he just sort of laughs and like eases up a little bit, has a little bit of respect for that. He's like, "Well, at least you got some sort of a backbone." And then he like walks up and he's like, we're supposed to be looking for some house or something."
Oh, well, I'm just right there right now. Well, heading there right now.
"Well, cool. Sounds good. Let's go." And he just like sort of starts walking and waits for her.
Wait, are we cool then? I'll look at Rayanne.
Ryan just suddenly nods, like, yes. And with
Okay.
like a clenched mouth, like, don't you dare say anything.
Oh my god.
Ash will just sheath his sword and follow.
Okay.
So to describe the house again, it is totally ransacked. If there was a table standing, it has been knocked over. If there were drapes, they have been torn off. Every closet looks like it's been just thrown about. The bed is tossed over in the rooms, and they have been ripped open. It looks like someone was searching for something. And in all this mess, there is one chest on the floor, totally untouched.
Okay. All right. So, can I like do a perception check on the chest?
Yeah,
Just
you can
gonna.
do a perception if you want to find out if it's trapped or
Yeah, any of
locked.
that.
Yeah,
He
that's
just
an
wants to know.
investigation. So
Why they didn't open yet.
yeah,
Yeah, perception or investigation.
yeah, or you can do both, and I can give you overlays.
Okay.
Those are pretty good rolls. Yeah, investigation 20. You know, you could guess that maybe they didn't touch the chest because it's just it's a really heavy duty, well made chest that looks like it's literally meant to protect whatever's in it. And you can tell, at least with that perception, that they gave it a pretty good like birth. Like there's literally a
Okay.
like 5 foot ring of like cleanness around the chest. So it's
Can I sort of
weird.
like look back at the group and like sort of do an insight on like the mood of the first person I see? It doesn't matter who it is. Just be like, what's their deal? Why didn't they open this?
Yeah, you can do an insight
That's okay.
on them.
Alright. Oh my god.
Whoa, you
I'm
are
having
on
good
fire.
rolls today.
Okay, so
This is
so Rayanne and Ash, like what kind of
like, how do you
mood?
feel?
Yeah, like what are you like? What are you physically showing to the outside world right now?
Just Rayanne would be like focusing in on the chest, but with a slight fear in her eyes as to what it could be.
Okay, so he's wait, is Ash gonna say something or just her? That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, sure. Ash is just looks kind of like tired, but is keeping a close eye on this newcomer.
And
Okay.
they also look like they have been through quite a fight.
Okay, so they look exhausted. Okay, so he's gonna sort of put his foot on the box and like kick it a little and be like, "What? You scared of this stupid
As you kick it,
box?"
it starts just vibrating by itself.
Weird. So he sort of like looks at it like, "What the heck?" Huh.
Ryan
I
just kind of jumps behind Ash, like, nope.
okay.
Expecting something like a snake or something.
He's gonna try to break it open. Can he do that?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
can.
possible?
Do you have a crowbar?
Um,
If
yeah,
you
I do actually. I have a crowbar. Oh my god.
yeah,
Yay!
Nice.
you can use the crowbar on it and see if it actually pops open.
Yeah, he's gonna grab the crowbar from his bag and like try to pry it open. Does that need a check or?
Yeah, it needs. If you can check it with your crowbar, I believe crowbars use your strength modifier plus your proficiency bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Strength
Mm-hmm.
mod
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2 plus proficiency. 5. So, do I just roll a 20 and then add 5?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh no!
Oh no. Yeah.
There goes the good roll.
With a 6.
Oh my gosh.
It seems pretty tight. Like it, you might have to undo like the 3 locks on front of it, like pick them. But they look, from your investigation roll, they look like very complicated locks.
So he sort of turns to the group and be like, "Well, you're a quiet, lively bunch," and then he just goes, "Who's good at lockpick and stuff?"
Ryan kind of subtly, well, I've got a key that can open just about anything.
Well, tell you what, you open this, and then I'll whack anything that's in there that tries to grab you. So don't be so scared, okay? And then he sort of mockingly like rolls his eyes again.
Hey, don't blame me. I just had an axe hit
He's
me.
like a rebellious teenager with a dude. Like clearly.
I like him. He seems like a bit more of a troublemaker than Rayanne. Rayanne,
Oh no.
you might.
Makes
Oh, no.
Ryan look like a saint.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh no! Wait, was that in
Yes.
character moan? Because that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Ash
What
is
was
just
that,
kind of
Ash?
like, why is everybody else just insane? What did I do wrong?
What did I do wrong? You did this to me.
Ryan just kind of gives this dirty look to Ash, like, hey, I could be a lot worse, trust me.
Oh.
You should have seen some hoodlums in Delson. There are some people who are miles worse than me.
How old does everybody look? Like, how old do they look?
Ryan is in her
Yes.
20s, early
20s.
20s.
What about Ash and the others? How old does everybody look?
Ash looks like he's in his mid-20s.
Mid-20s,
And you
okay.
haven't seen the other party members, or even know they exist yet. So
Yeah,
we'll,
that's true. That's true. Sorry.
yeah.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
Rand, you're gonna use that key.
Yes.
So Rand pulls out this like normal looking key. It might be made of like brass or it's gilded or something. And as she as the key approaches the lock, you see the top of this chest start vibrating violently, even more violently than when people were touching it. And as soon as she gets the key in the lock, it looks like the top just disappears, and you can see straight into the chest.
Whoa.
What do we see?
Give me a nature check.
That's crazy. Hmm.
And you can give me a nature check too, Phoenix. Or
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Just Rayan.
yeah, Rayanne.
What does Rayan know?
You've heard of terrifying stories of a large beast that burrows into the ground called a boule.
Oh no.
But this thing looks a lot smaller, and there looks like to be like eggshells around it, like it recently hatched.
Oh.
So this means trouble.
It means super big trouble for someone.
Ooh.
Mm.
Uh-oh. We're doomed.
Rayan takes the key. She doesn't open it. She just kind of puts it back out of there. Like, okay, there's something here that means bad news. Bad news, indeed.
What is that?
Interfere with our job, because if not, I don't care.
It could.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not something to tread lightly. Just to say that. I don't know if
Right.
this is something that the guy left here, or something that the kobolds left here just to be spiteful jerk faces.
I don't know. When we fought him before, we saw him with a basilisks, I think. I didn't see any of whatever this is.
All I know is,
Wait, are there eggs in there that we can see?
yeah, it recently hatched.
Yeah. I mean, you can give me a perception check to see if you saw any more than that. But that was
Yeah.
like the most apparent thing.
So it burrows into the ground and whatnot? What?
Yep. So these are known to be really bad predators. Like in Swordfall, they're not like as abundant, but in other countries they burrow underground, they attack from below, they are able to sense things without seeing. They're called land sharks, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're super deadly, and having a baby one probably breaks some kind of law.
Rand is going to put this back on the shelf, and you know what she's going to say? You know what? Maybe we should report this to the guy. It might not be something that, you know, maybe it's something he left on there.
And Phoenix, your character saw that even though there was one hatched, there were probably about 2 other eggs that you could see in there at the brief moment that was there. So that thing's kind of full of boule eggs.
Okay, so he's gonna smash the eggs.
You find that whatever you're using is colliding with something, and you realize that the top of this chest is invisible.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you. If the key isn't turned in, the door's invisible for some reason. I found that out the hard way.
Ah, great. Well, this isn't in our job description, is it? Because if not, forget this. Somebody else can deal with it.
Maybe don't murder a bunch of babies also?
Yeah, maybe it was left there on purpose. Maybe it's something that doesn't.
Well, you said it was dangerous. What else am I supposed to do?
Leave it and pretend it never existed. That's what I do.
Is the chest open or is it just see-through?
It's just see-through, like everything else she's been sticking that key into.
He laughs and asks if that's worked for her so far.
Ash is gonna kind of go kneel down and kind of like tap on the chest a couple times and see what the thing does.
So if the key's still in the lock, right?
Preferably she'd want to yank it out as soon as possible, but
yeah, everyone. I think everyone's poking at it too much. Yeah. So Ash, you set your hand on it, and it looks like the boule is trying to get at your hand.
Hmm.
You don't know if it's like trying to do it in an instinctive "I'm a baby and you must be my parent" way,
Oh,
or "I want to
that's
eat your hand
adorable.
because I'm a horrible monster" way.
Slightly less adorable.
Would that be animal handling or what?
It would be a
Monster handle.
It would be an. Actually, yeah, you could do an animal handling check to see if like, oh, this is like a baby thing, or oh, this is a horrible monster thing.
It's gonna rip my arm off.
Yeah, it's probably hungry, and yeah, it might want to eat you, maybe.
Well, it's like tiny though, right?
Yeah, it's tiny. We'll just nibble off fingers.
Hmm.
Don't
'Cause
dare open this chest.
Ash is feeling kind of conflicted because he knows, like they said, it's a monster, but also like starving to death in a chest sounds pretty awful.
Rand goes to Ash and says, "Don't you dare open this chest.
Wait,
These
did he
things
say
will-"
that or think that?
I think he was just narrating his feelings. So
Okay, that's
Okay.
what I thought. I was
That's-
like,
Okay.
I think
You
she
know
could
what?
probably tell what I was like I'm like looking at this chest, like kind of looking conflicted.
These little guys will eat your fingers off. No joke. I've heard stories about this. I think in Delson there was probably a smuggler or two who had one of these and ripped his hand cleaned off. Granted, they were a little bit older, but still.
I believe you. I feel bad still, but we can leave him, I guess.
Yeah. Good decision. Good decision. She just rips the key back.
and the top becomes visible again.
Well, that was interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, and I'll turn to the a newcomer and be like, "Hey, I guess I didn't catch your name."
all right, I'm Nilkus. Nice to meet you. He grabs your arm instead of your hand and shakes that way. It's from where he lived originally. It's more respectful to do it that way.
Yeah,
But you
you
might
would
not know that.
totally recognize this handshake, Ash.
Thank you for listening to Tales of Swordfall.
Please consider listening to these podcasts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Where the Wild Things Roll. My name is John, and I will be your host and DM for this 5th edition actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast set in the world of Ravarna. This podcast might be a tad different from others you've listened to. The two players will be my 12-year-old son, Kinnick, and my 10-year-old daughter, Kaylee, as they learn to play D&D through their very first campaign. We will pick up with our adventurers as they finish their time at Paduke's Adventurers Guild, as they take their practical exams in dungeoneering, magical beasts, weapons and armor, puzzle solving, diplomacy, history of the world, and magical cause and effect before they are set out into the world. Can our two adventurers pass their classes and become full-fledged members of the Adventurers Guild? You'll have to tune in and find out next time on Where the Wild Things Roll.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.